Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're all well. I'm going to start a new series where we go through a brief, and I really mean a brief, summary of the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. This series is simply to give you basic knowledge of the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and to give you the motivation to study the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in depth. Nonetheless, I hope you all enjoy. Nearly 4,000 years ago lived a young man named Ibrahim. Even as a small child, Abraham could not understand how his people, and especially his father, could make these images with their own hands, call them gods, and worship them. He was sure his people were doing wrong, so alone he searched for the right way. One day, while all the townspeople were out, Abraham angrily smashed all the idols with his right hand, except for one which was very large. When the people returned, they were furious. They said to him, "Is it you who did this to our gods, O Abraham?" Abraham replied, "But this is their chief did it. Ask them if they're able to speak." The people exclaimed, "You know they do not speak." He said, "Do you worship what yourselves have carved when Allah created you and what you make?" Abraham continued, "Do you worship instead of Allah, which cannot purify your all, nor harm you?" The people decided to give Abraham the worst punishment they could find. He was to be burnt to death. On the chosen day, all the people gathered in the center of the city, and even the king was there. Abraham was then placed inside a special building filled with wood. The wood was lit. Soon the fire became so strong that the people were pushed back by the flames. But Allah said,
قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Later on, Abraham married Seerah and settled in the land of modern-day Palestine. Many years passed, but Abraham and his wife were not blessed with any children. In the hope that there'll be a child, and in keeping with the tradition, Seerah suggested that Abraham should marry Hajar, her Egyptian handmaid. Soon after this took place, Hajar had a little boy named Ishmael. Sometime later, Allah promised Abraham another son, but this time the mother of the child would be his first wife, Seerah. The second son would be called Isaac. Allah also told Ibrahim that from his two sons, Ishmael and Isaac, 2 nations and 3 religions would be founded. And because of this, he must take Hajar and Ishmael away from Palestine to a new land. These events were an important part of Allah's plan, for the descendants of Ishmael would form a nation from which would come a great prophet. Many years later, Ibrahim and Ishmael were raising the foundations of the house. Abraham prayed,
وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ رَبَّنَا وَاجْعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِنَا أُمَّةً مُسْلِمَةً لَكَ وَأَرِنَا مَنَاسِكَنَا وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ رَبَّنَا وَابْعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ.